Okay, so this last weekend, when I was going through some of my queues and stuff like that, I happened to see that I got a email to one of my Benson email addresses to basically that I give to my clients, so that way they have a way of contacting me. I only check those emails about, I mean, to be truthfully honest with you, I only check them about once a week, sometimes twice a week. Just all depends, just because, and I respond to those emails as well, and I kind of tell them that in that automatic response that says, hey, I might not get to this right away, but at least it's a way that my customers can directly contact me. Obviously, I'll be completely honest, it's not a scalable solution. As Benson grows, as KC Online grows, things like that, it's not a scalable solution. So we'll have to figure out a method for that. But right now, it's a great way for my clients to get a hold of me if something's wrong. Case in point, I got an email from the head pastor at a church that the Benson maintains, and they were saying, hey, our emails are still not working, something's not right, this needs to be fixed, etc., etc., etc. And I mean, realistically, I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? I didn't know there was anything going on. I immediately got on the phone with the tech that's in charge or responsible for that account. Said, what's going on with this? And then he kind of explained to me what was going on. I sent an email to the one other pastor that's actually at that church that kind of does things, to get all the behind the scenes on exactly how much I could to find out what was wrong. So that email definitely works. It allows me to be able to fix a problem that not necessarily that I know about. However, I talked to him as like, hey, why didn't you respond to sending these requests via this ticket or this, because we have a specific email address that our clients are supposed to contact, and so that way all the techs are in the loop on what's going on a certain account. And he basically said, well, you mentioned about going to a web form online. And I honestly didn't remember that, but at the same point in time, I thought, well, there is a web form on there, and he says I put something on there and it didn't work. And so I immediately hopped on the website, and sure enough, it didn't work. So it makes me wonder how many other people have had the same problem. I immediately got the web designer on it, fixed the actual web form. That was fixed within probably 15-20 minutes. We actually removed the web form. I believe it or not, more and more, I hate web forms. I used to love them, and now, honestly, they're just crap. Anyway, so we got that fixed. We actually put the email addresses on there. But then I'm just like, how do I be more proactive on this stuff? How do I do this? I mean, there's a long story on this, but to sum it all up, I once had a client that, and this was probably 10, 11, 12 years ago, and I mean, it was a residential client. He was paying me, I'm talking 50, 60 bucks, and I know that sounds like a lot of money to some people, but in the whole scheme of things, the amount of grief that he has caused me over the last 11, 12 years. And he says, basically comes up in my face within 2 or 3 inches, and he basically says, you will never succeed, Ben, as long as you are not proactive. He says, you need to be a proactive person, and this business is not a proactive customer or business. And I'm like, first of all, we're a break fix shop. You tell us if there's something wrong, we fix it. With our network clients, we try to be a little more proactive on that kind of stuff, and try to have automation put in place so it contacts us and things like that. And that's neither here nor there. We're trying to figure out a solution to be actually more notified if network customers are having problems like this without them telling us. We think we came up with a solution to be notified about things like that, but we're gonna have to go through some testing and stuff like that and put it on another person's plate on more projects that we just can't get done. But at the same point in time, we're trying to be more proactive on this kind of stuff. And so I was just like, I sat down and I was just like, okay, how do I fix this problem? How do I make sure that I get information in front of my clients' face once a year, and hopefully they read it, and at least the procedures and policies and things like that in place. I basically, if we would have gotten notified on certain things, it would have been we could have maybe gotten the problem fixed faster, and escalated to if it couldn't be fixed here after a certain time, then it gets escalated to another ticketing thing to be worked on, and things like that. So what I came up with is I needed to get a letter mailed to my clients that it's mailed once a year. And it basically says, it actually says a couple different things. But I mean, what it does is it doesn't have an email header on here. Ignore that. But it's a letter that we're actually sending to our clients. It's not signed. It's not 2 pages either. It all fits on 1 page. But there's like 8 different points on there. One, if we ask that the clients that contact us via specific email address. I'm not going to put that email address in here, but that's the email address. It's on the letter. I'm not going to tell you, but it puts that in there, says if you can't get a hold of us, if you don't get an immediate response back from that email address, it means we did not get it, and to contact us. The second way to contact us is via phone, which we don't necessarily like to do, because technically we can get voicemails we can get behind on quite a bit, and that's just one of those things that we just kind of get on a little nervous on. So if there's a crucial problem, that's like where we like to be. I mean, we're not super behind on voicemails, but we could be behind 3-4 hours on voicemails. And if that's the case, we got an emergency with a customer, you can see the problem. It talks on there, another point is if you have a question with your billing, you need to contact this specific email address. We wanted to remind people that in-shop computer repair is free on the maintenance program. We also want to remind people if they bought things from us, they get a discount on all those parts off of our normal retail prices. And because I think that we're missing out on a lot of computer sales that we could be capturing some revenue off of, and we're not. Shame on us. Do we not have a website that is easy enough to use? Do we not? What is that problem, and why is it that people think that they can buy it somewhere else cheaper than what we can actually get it for? And that's just that's a whole nother issue that I can tell you about, a story about a long time ago that happened. But let's see, things like that we offer different other services like web design, etc., etc., etc. Then if you're not being serviced correctly, that you're supposed to contact me at that specific Benson email address that actually I read and I go through. Doesn't necessarily mean I respond to them all, but I definitely read through them, and we then figure out processes and processes to figure out how to fix those things permanently. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we do work on that kind of stuff. Trying to figure out how to be as proactive, solve the solutions, and be the best company that we can possibly be, and just a little bit of perspective behind the scenes on when a client does this, what do we do here? How many things do we try to put in place? How many things do we try to fix going forward? It seems like that's always the nature of the game, and then as soon as we get something figured out, the technology changes all over again, and we're back to square one. But hopefully some of these big things, they'll be put in place for long term. I'll give you an idea. This letter, I did one other automated letter that has nothing to do with Benson, but I did one other automated letter, and it took between this letter and that letter, I had about 6 hours of automation put into the thing, the proofreading, the timing, the all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we've made some progress, and to let our clients know that we do care about their needs and we want to service them to the best of our ability. And if you're not being serviced, we want to know that immediately. So thank you very much, and that's today's update.